Hello, everybody, all my YouTube viewers, my peeps in the chat room, my lurkers, folks that'll be viewing it later on Memorex. Glad to have you with me today. Here it is, the 14th day of September. We're almost halfway through the month. Hard to believe that time's flying that fast. Gee whiz, I'll tell you what, it's a pretty day here in Indiana today, although it's a little overcast, but still nice. The temperature's in about mid-70s, and one leaf a flickering on the trees. It's nice and calm today. Nice day for getting out, maybe taking a little walk or garden, something outside because it's not too hot to get stuff done. Oh my goodness, we got a lot of news today. I've got the first one I'm gonna do here is gonna be a screen share, because you got to see this. Congress serves the FBI full subpoena live AC emails. So we're going to see if we can do the screen share here with this so you can all enjoy it. I think I've got it. Let's see. There we go. Share that. And then we'll play this thing.
You don't get to decide what I get to see. I get to see it all. I was elected by some 800,000 people to come to Congress and see classified information. My colleagues here to be the chairman of this committee. That's the way our Constitution works. Will the FBI provide to Congress the full file with no redactions of personal identifiable information? I cannot make that commitment sitting here today. Then I'm going to issue a subpoena, and I'm going to do it right now. So let's go. I've signed this subpoena. We want all the 302s, and we would like the full file. You can accept service on behalf of the FBI. You are hereby served.
And there you have it. You are thereby served. Holy moly. I'm going to take a look at the chat room here and make sure that you're all able to see that. Jay or somebody there, if you tell me, could you see that good and hear it? Because I know there is a delay for this chat room thing. I just want to make sure. Okay, everybody got to see that. Oh, I mean, that just did my heart good to see that. I watched that last night and I thought, I got to share this with peeps. Oh boy. Okay. Next one we have here is, this is off the uconservative.com. It says, breaking, we just discovered real reason why Comey didn't charge Hillary. This will cost him his job. Saying from Hillary Clinton's aides to her technicians and all the way to her lawyers who supervised the destruction of the government records and classified material that they were not even cleared to touch. There are many people who deserve a fate far worse than that which Martha Stewart was subjected to. When FBI Director Comey did not recommend charges for Hillary Clinton's mishandling of classified materials by sending, receiving, and storing it on unauthorized personal email server, Americans were shocked. Comey claimed that Clinton did not intend to break the law when she sent and received classified emails over her homebrew server. If you had a hunch that he was paid off, that would be an understatement. A review of FBI Director James Comey's professional history and relationship shows that he and his brother have been in bed with Clinton all along. His personal and professional relationships, all undisclosed, as he announced the Bureau would not prosecute Clinton, reinforced bipartisan concerns that he may have politicized the criminal probe. These concerns focus on millions of dollars that Comey accepted from a Clinton Foundation defense contractor, Comey's former membership on a Clinton Foundation corporate partners board, and his surprising financial relationship with his brother Peter Comey, who works at the law firm that does Clinton Foundation's taxes. Comey earned $6 million in 1 year alone from Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin became a Clinton Foundation donor that very year. According to records, Lockheed Martin is also a member of the American Chamber of Commerce in Egypt, which paid Bill Clinton $250,000 to deliver a speech in 2010. In 2010, Lockheed Martin won 17 approvals for private contracts from the Clinton State Department. In 2013, Comey became the board member and director of and a financial system vulnerabilities committee member of the London bank HSBC Holdings. HSBC Holding and its various philanthropic branches routinely partner with Clinton Foundation. For instance, HSBC Holdings has partnered with Deutsche Bank through the Clinton Foundation to retrofit 1,500 to 2,500 housing units, primarily in the low to moderate income sector in New York City. When our source called the Chinatown office of DC law firm from DLA Piper and asked for Peter Comey, a receptionist immediately put him through to Comey's direct line. But Peter Comey is not featured on the DLA Piper website. Peter Comey serves as Senior Director of Real Estate Operations for the Americas for DLA Piper. James Comey was not questioned about his relationship with Peter Comey in his confirmation hearing. DLA Piper is the firm that performed the independent audit of the Clinton Foundation in November during Clinton world first big push to put the email scandal behind them. DLA Piper employees taken as whole represent a major Hillary Clinton 2016 campaign donation block and Clinton Foundation donation base. DLA Piper ranks number 5 on Hillary Clinton's all-time career top contributors list, just ahead of Goldman Sachs. And here's another thing. Peter Comey has a mortgage on his house that's owned by his brother, James Comey, the FBI director. Trickle-down corruption was nominated, try that again. When President Obama nominated Comey to become FBI director in 2013, Comey promised the United States Senate that he would recuse himself on all cases involving former employers. He lied. He has, in fact, politicized the FBI. That is supposed to support the rule of law. The FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton needs to be reopened. Comey and Attorney General Loretta Lynch should recuse themselves, and Congress should demand the appointment of a special prosecutor. We're in a crisis of corruption that is permeating all corners of our government, even now reaching into the FBI. Just imagine how bad the corruption will be if she's president. So there's that article for you. And the next one we have here is off the Daily Sheeple. Says, double hoax. 2 mainstream news reports claim Hillary Clinton died, promptly scrubbed from the internet. Are they just trying to get people used to the idea that Hillary Clinton isn't going to be around much longer? Not one, but 2 different reports have come out of major media channels, both ABC News, curiously, one national, one local, that Hillary has died. They have since been taken down from the web. In the first, a TV anchor at WABC opened his nightly broadcast with more on Hillary Clinton's death. The official version has been taken down off the WABC site, but someone TV with cell phone and put it up on YouTube. The news anchor, Joe Torre, does not correct himself, but the station says Torre's meant to say health, as the report he goes on to deliver is all about the state of her health following her collapse at Ground Zero on 9/11. That might just be written off as a Freudian slip, if not for the fact it isn't the only instance of major media outlet reporting that Hillary died, and the next one's much more detailed. Pretty specific for it just being a hoax or an accidental report, yeah? Again, they are trying to gauge the are they trying to gauge the public's reaction? Something is definitely going on, and a lot of people are asking, did Hillary actually die on 9/11? And what's happening now is a psyop being perpetrated against the American people. Ground Zero would be a perfect location for it, because either way, the original film of her fainting sure does look awfully staged. So there you have that article, and there is some video in that if you want to take a look at them. All these URLs are, of course, in the description of the video for you to take a look at. if you so desire. The next one is off of governmentslaves.info, and this one says Chelsea's apartment has the same address as a medical facility. Hospital? It says reader tip: a presidential candidate collapses at a ceremony in New York City and is shoved unconscious by SS into a van like a side of beef and rushed off. Not to one of the many world-class hospitals and clinics nearby, but to her daughter's $11 million apartment. So, sound odd? It did to me. So I looked up a bit about Chelsea's new apartment. The Whitman, 21 East 26th Street, number 4, Flatiron District, New York. I discovered that it exactly shares the address with Metro Care Home Service. Floor, only one apartment per floor. For a woman very secretive about her ambiguous medical condition, whom avoids hospitals like the plague, it occurred to me that when Clinton bought this incredibly expensive apartment for their daughter in 2013, they may have also purchased it with the intent of using it as a secret private medical treatment facility for Hillary to use during her anticipated campaign. Only appear Hillary was just dropping in for a visit with her daughter, when in reality she's receiving medical treatment and controlled substances from private physicians and private pharmacists on private property. No need for disclosure. If so, Chelsea's apartment served its secret purpose flawlessly this Sunday. It makes sense that to establish a clandestine medical treatment facility in a residential one which is legally compliant with the controlled substance dispensing, stocking, delivery, and shipment requirements, and one which is able to legally supply and treat a private patient with the drugs needed, one would also have to register the address as a medical treatment facility. In this case, I would assume the Clinton Foundation would be the controlling entity. A staff and private doctor or pharmacist would then be employed. Hillary has two. Patient practice medicine within the confines of the private residence and dispense drugs that a private patient without any disclosure. This sham medical facility, while legally registered as a public care facility, would also have to be close to the public in order to operate without any disclosure. This is exactly what appears to be taking place at 21 East 26th Street, 4th floor in New York, New York. There you have that information. The next one we have here is off of DC Clothesline. It says DNC holding emergency meeting to discuss replacing Clinton as presidential nominee. Washington, D.C., in a stunning turn of events, the Democratic National Committee is set to hold emergency meeting to discuss replacing Hillary Clinton as Democratic president after she was caught on camera collapsing during the 9/11 memorial in New York on Sunday. Emmy Award-winning journalist David Schuster noted in a social media post that Democratic Party operatives are in the process of planning a crisis summit to discuss alternatives to Clinton. The ongoing media speculation about potentially serious health issues was confirmed with this latest incident. In an effort to cover up her health problems, Clinton campaign initially denied health-related issues and blamed the collapse on heat exhaustion, only to later come forward and admit Hillary has been suffering from a case of pneumonia for the past 3 days. This admission raises the distinct possibility of a larger cover-up related to her health problems. A Democratic operative reportedly told Schuster that the combination of the shocking footage of Clinton's collapsing at the 9/11 memorial, along with her campaign hiding the fact that she had been suffering from pneumonia for the past 3 days, represented uncharted political territory. However, from strategizing, the DNC does not technically have the ability to replace Clinton according to party bylaws. We can make contingencies, argue, plead with Hillary Clinton, but DNC bylaws are clear. Her nominee status now is totally up to her, a top Democrat told Schuster. Additionally, top Democrat strategists and Hillary advisors have expressed serious concerns that the dramatic collapse footage, in concert with her campaign's continued attempts to hide her health woes, was potentially a massive game changer. The Clintons have this notion that They only go as far as they need to in terms of disclosure. An ally close to the former president told Politico they can't afford to approach this that way. It's going to be something that people aren't going to be able to stop talking about, so we'll see, added James Carville, a longtime close confidant of Hillary Clinton. Just weeks ago, television personality and licensed physician Dr. Drew Pinsky publicly stated he was gravely concerned with Clinton's health after analyzing all of her available public medical records. Almost immediately after making the public comment about Clinton's health, Pinsky's show was canceled by CNN. Even before Clinton's recent fall, her behavior at various events, characterized by people assisting her walk up steps and fits of coughing, had led observers increasingly speculate about potentially serious health problems, all the while the campaign attempting to portray these concerns as a conspiracy theory. Clinton last released her health records in 2013 during her tenure as Secretary of State. After it was revealed she slipped and fell in her bathtub as a result of the stomach flu, she was given an MRI and other brain scans, which revealed a pre-existing blood clot in her brain. She was then prescribed blood thinners, which she takes along with thyroid supplements. Interestingly, someone choosing to remain anonymous, but purporting to be a professor at the U.S. Medical School, recently released a 10-minute YouTube video claiming to have analyzed Clinton's brain scans, disputed medical records, and slow-motion clips, and determined that she suffers from vascular dementia, a fatal condition. While Clinton's surrogates pushed back against these assertions by attempting to claim that any concerns about her health were simply a right-wing conspiracy, internally top Democratic operatives have been extremely concerned that her health issues were becoming a serious concern that could affect the outcome of the presidential election. Once again, conspiracy theory is shown to be conspiracy truth. The only question that remains is how severe are Hillary's health issues. What we can be certain of is her campaign will and has hidden the truth from the public whenever they believe it would endanger her chances in the presidential election. So there's that information for you. The next one we have is off of scmp.com news. It's war of words. China rebukes U.S. and Japan over South China Sea as summit wraps up in Laos. China lashed out the United States and Japan on Thursday, accusing the two allies of trying to foment discord between Beijing and its Southeast Asian neighbors over lingering tensions in the South China Sea. The accusations by Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Xingmin came after East Asia summit in Vientiane ended without reprimanding China on its assertiveness in the waters, action that have strained ties with its neighbors. Liu praised the 10-strong Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which includes 4 rival climates, for showing restraint and willingness to find solutions to the disputes. A total of 16 out of 18 nations, including all Asian member nations, supported the joint efforts by China and ASEAN to head with the negotiations on the code of conduct on the South China Sea, he said. Only 2 nations mentioned the international arbitration ruling and insisted should be binded and implemented, Liu said, without naming the U.S. or Japan. He was referring to the permanent court arbitration in The Hague's dismissal in July of Beijing's expansion claims over much of the South China Sea. U.S. President Barack Obama raised the ruling during his talks in Laos over the past few days. I recognize this raises tensions, but I also look forward to discussing how we can constructively move forward together or lower tensions and promote diplomacy and regional stability, Obama said. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe also singled out China's serious concerns about Beijing's increasing muscular claim in the waters. But after their annual summit on Tuesday and Wednesday, Asian leaders held off on naming China or mentioning its rapid island building in this area, widely seen as a source of tension. In a joint statement, the Asian leaders said their summit took note of the concerns expressed by some leaders on land reclamation and escalation of activity in the area, which had eroded trust, increased tensions, and could undermine peace in the region. Analysts said that although Beijing was reluctant to see the maritime disputes being discussed widely at the summit, the outcome was acceptable, reprimanded. National University of Singapore professor Hag Jing said Asia refrained from siding with the U.S. and Japan because it did not want to embarrass China over the arbitration ruling, which Beijing saw as a sweeping setback. And I'm trying to get it to scroll up here a little bit, and it doesn't seem to want to do that. Okay, there we go. Says, I think Asian realized that the regional peace and stability should be their priority, and cooperation and dialogue with China is essential to find a solution to the maritime dispute, he said. And there's some links in that and some video if you want to take a look at that at your leisure. The next one that we have here is off of the Business Insider, and it's North Koreans are defecting from country in droves. Fear of deadly snakes to alleged executions by anti-aircraft guns, it's understandable why many North Koreans desire to flee the hermit kingdom. What's interesting to note, however, is the economic class of defectors have found their way out of North Korea. According to the survey from Korean Unification Ministry, the percentage of defectors from the middle class rose from 19% in 2001 to 55.9% after 2014. The increase stems from the fact that more defectors from higher statuses in the North possess the resources to escape, said the Unification Ministry. Here, 894 North Koreans have escaped the country compared to 777 in the previous year during the same period. The Unification Ministry claims that this 15% increase is on track to bring the total amount of defectors to 30,000 by the end of the year. Although the reason to cross the border, or in some exceptional cases, remain away from are numerous, it's noteworthy that one of their highly publicized punishments in North Korea seems to have decreased. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is estimated to have executed about 130 officials in the 5 years he's been in power, while Kim Jong-il, his father, had put to death over 2,000 officials in a 6-year span. The latest high-profile defection comes from Tha Yong-ho, North Korea's deputy ambassador to London, who has since been accused by his former country of leaking state secrets, embezzlement, and child rape. As one of the highest-ranking North Korean officials to have defected, it wouldn't be far-fetched to believe that others will eventually follow suit. Video there if you want to see that one. The next one that we have here is off of express.co.uk. It says Brexit revolt. Hungary, Poland, Czechs, and Slovaks vow EU revolution to block migrant plot. And this reads, Hungary, Poland, and Czech Republic and Slovakia will push for the EU to move away from Western liberalism and towards more nationalist stance, spurred on by Britain's Brussels exit. Orbán, Hungary's populist conservative prime minister, pledged to use upcoming EU debate to lobby for the Brussels bloc to uphold the historic religious and national identity of its member states. He said, Brexit is a fantastic opportunity for us. We are at a historic cultural moment. There is possibility of cultural counter-revolution right now. People don't change. National and religious identities still have their place. There's no European identity that could replace them. At the summit in Bratislava on September the 16th, the Visegrad group of Eastern European nations will say Brexit reveals the underlying hostility to an EU agenda that flies in the face of many communities, different histories or experiences of immigration and globalism. The move could see the nations come to blows with Germany, Sweden, Denmark, France, Spain, and Italy, all states that pride themselves on view. Jaroslaw Kaczynski, leader of Poland's ruling Justice and Law Party, said Europe needs deep changes. These changes must be rooted in cultural counter-revolutionism, that Europe has a wealth of European cultures. Hungary's also called for the EU to take stronger stance on mass immigration. Economic patriotism is a valid topic to discuss. People say that money doesn't smell, but the owner of the money, only those nations that have their historic, religious, and national identity will survive and be strong. The group of nations are also opposed to the EU's plan to give 75 million Turks, mainly Muslims, visa-free travel in the borderless Xinjiang area in return for Turkey's help in preventing a repeat of last year's migration crisis by cutting off the flow of refugees to the continent. In 4 weeks' time, Hungary will hold a referendum on the EU's migrant quotas and force countries to take refugees from Greece and Italy permanent. So there's information on what's going on with Brexit. The next thing we have here is for all my science buffs. Time crystals may be viable after all. Microsoft researchers have teamed up with physicists from University of California, Santa Barbara to show how time crystals might be possible. Proposed by Nobel Prize-winning theoretical physicist Frank Wilczek, time crystals are a hypothetical system that spontaneously break time translation symmetry, or TTS, a fundamental symmetry in physics. In plain language, they exhibit tiny movements without using energy. Crystals have a rigid arrangement of atoms that break translational symmetry. Their structure is not symmetrical in space, unlike a sphere, which looks the same from all directions. Time crystals break the symmetry of space and time. Wilczek considered a group of atoms in their grounding state moving in perpetual circular motion, which is considered an impossible idea because ground states do not have enough energy to spontaneously move. Dominic Ells, co-author of the paper published in Physical Review Letters and a physicist at UCSB, said that there was a crucial difference between explicit and spontaneous symmetry breaking. If a symmetry is broken explicitly, then the laws of nature do not have the symmetry anymore. Spontaneous symmetry breaking means that the laws of nature have a symmetry, but nature chooses that state, a state that doesn't, Else told org. For time crystals, the laws of nature don't change with time, but the time crystals themselves change as it chooses a ground state motion, which spontaneously breaks TTS. The team of researchers have many rules for their hypothetical quantum time crystal systems, known as Floquet many-body localized driven systems. The Floquet time crystals must never reach thermal equilibrium and radiate heat, or they would lose rotational energy. When the size of the system grows, the time it takes for TTS to decay into a time-dependent state is infinite, so TTS is broken forever without violating the second law of thermodynamics. The significance of our work is twofold. On one hand, it demonstrates that time transmission symmetry is not immune to being spontaneously broken, said co-author Bella Bauer, a researcher at Microsoft Station Q. On the other hand, it deepens our understanding that non-equilibrium systems can host many interesting states of matter that cannot exist in equilibrium systems, Bauer added. Spontaneous symmetry breaking is commonly found in physics, the paper said. For almost every symmetry imaginable, there's a model whose ground state breaks its crystals, break the continuous translation and rotational symmetries of Coulomb interactions. magnetically ordered materials, breaking time reversal symmetry, and spin symmetry, and superfluids break global gauge symmetry, but no one has ever observed the breaking of TTS. The researchers believe that they can demonstrate this elusive property by using oscillating trapped ions or superconducting to represent a Floquet time crystal. The experiment would observe how the system evolves over time to see whether TTS broke spontaneously. That is rather fascinating. Who knows? Maybe within our lifetime we'll get to see a quantum leap. The next one we have here, well, I got a couple of them, and this is to show you how our is degrading rapidly. Holy moly. This is off of constitution.com. It says, woman arrested for marrying her daughter. Yeah, you heard that right. Woman arrested for marrying her daughter. There is nothing more distressful than for a parent to hurt their child, especially if that child is seeking to please that parent. Children often do things against their will to win the approval of their neglecting parent. The sick parent can, and often does, use this to their advantage. One such case seems to exist in Oklahoma. Christian News reports an Oklahoma woman and her daughter are behind bars after authorities discovered that they were involved in an incestuous relationship in marrying each other earlier this year. According to reports, the Department of Human Services, DHS, contacted the Duncan Police Department after visiting the home of Patricia Spann, age 43, for a child welfare investigation. It found that Spann was living with 3 of her children who had been previously taken from her custody and adopted by their paternal grandmother. Spann reportedly had no contact with her children for years, but when she met her daughter Misty, now 25, the two hit it off, she told DHS officials. She also said the ratification of marrying her biological daughter, but determined that because her name was no longer listed on Misty's birth certificate, she felt no laws had been violated. Now, this is not something that we have not seen. As I reported, there's a similar case happening in New Mexico, and the mother and son claim to be in love. Here, the mother has done this before. That's right. Just last year, Patricia Spann married her son. Supposedly, she did this to keep him from being deployed to Iraq. Now, she and her daughter held on a $10,000 bond and awaiting trial. The problem that Oklahoma faces as in New Mexico. Who are they to tell them that they cannot get married? This is what happens when you open the door on self-defining marriage. Good golly. The next one I have is, well, it's disturbing. It's not quite as disturbing as that one, I guess, in some ways, and in other ways, probably more so. This is off of kptx.com. And this is a two-parter, okay? So you'll have to hang with me. Man arrested in connection with an I-205 road rage incident involving a gun. This is out of Oregon City, Oregon. A 38-year-old man has been arrested in connection with road rage incident involving a gun that occurred on southbound shoulder of I-205 near Oregon City. Police said the incident happened in the area of milepost 9 and 10 at 7:30 a.m. Friday. Several people reported the situation to police and provided officers with a video that shows a firearm being used during the incident. With Russ Kaparich, who recorded the road rage incident. Kaparich said he was taking his daughter to school Friday morning when he got stuck on I-205 traffic in Oregon City. He saw next made him stop, pull out his camera, and hit record. When the guy got out of the car, my first reaction was, is that a gun? Like, I can't believe he has a gun. 18 seconds of the heated moment between the two men in the video. You can see one man walk up to the other with a gun. At the end of the video, it shows both men going back to their vehicles. Kaparich said he saw a lot of anger and believes the situation could have been avoided. I don't think he ever had to stop his car. I think he deserves to to pay the price. I don't know what that price is, but I think that you can't get away with that. According to Oregon State Police, Bradley J. France was arrested Tuesday evening on charges of menacing, disorderly conduct, and pointing a firearm at another. Thanks to tips from the public, France's vehicle was identified. Off-duty Clackamas firefighters spotted the Mercedes SUV near Stafford Road. Clackamas County deputies found France driving the vehicle near that location and conducted a traffic stop on Willamette Drive in West Lynn. France was taken into custody without incident and was lodged in the Clackamas County Jail. Troopers retrieved the gun used in the incident, Glock 19, at Francis's home, according to the OSP. Now, I said it was a two-parter, okay? It's one of those, it's like a commercial. But wait, there's more. All right, here's this. This guy has a resume on the internet. That's right, he has his resume up on the internet. Bradley France, and he's an Oregon broker. And it goes, it gives all of his info here, his summary, and as a broker, and his real estate broker, and an Oregon broker, and a carrier relations agent, and a business coordinator, and a carrier account manager. Yeah. Salt of the earth, loan officer, account executive, crew chief, MH60K, Black Hawk. Yeah. Now let's get to the nitty gritty on this. Volunteer experiences and causes. You're going to love this. Role model and teacher. Lake Church. January 10th to August 2013, 3 years and 8 months. Working with children. And he says on this resume, I volunteered with 4 and 5-year-old students in the children's ministry. This was a wonderful opportunity to experience the innocent love and freedom children hold. I know that my 3 short years working with those children, I grew more than they did. My role was to act as a chaperone during playtime, participate in weekly skits with specific roles depending on the curriculum schedule. I got to click this to get more of it. Okay. Teach children specific skills when dealing with conflict resolution, directions, and classroom participation. Working with learning disabled children is where my true passion was, and offering open perception to the Bible from my own experiences. My goal wasn't to force my views on them, but to allow a safe environment to learn what the Bible and Jesus meant to them. You will be surprised how intelligent, witty, and funny children can be. Never underestimate the unabated view of life. And this thing, the resume goes on, but that's the paragraph of him being a role model. Out of a vehicle in a road rage and obviously threatened somebody. It's on tape. Is this the kind of guy you want working with your children? Is this the kind of guy that you want to teach them how to deal with conflict, how to follow directions? Holy smoke. Now, I'm bringing this up as an example to everybody that when you claim to be whatever it is you claim to be, whether you claim to be religious or salt of the earth or, whatever it is you claim to be, hey, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. You can't be a whore on Saturday night and then go and be the church lady on Sunday morning. It don't work that way. You're a hypocrite. This guy should be ashamed of himself. And I sure wouldn't want him around my children. Good grief. So I just wanted to bring that up to you. It's kind of a lesson for everybody. And the last one that I have for you, this is fuzzy. If I can get this thing to cooperate with me. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to do a screen share on this. This is a YouTuber, and let's see here. We got to get things working properly to show this. Screen share, and we're going to do this. We're going to share, and I'm going to play this for you.
Look around the room. You would think this is any other senior center, but it's Amber Glen, a center for Alzheimer's patients, and this man is pulling them out of their shell.
I don't think they would remember I was there the day before or an hour before, but yet they're playing songs, they just fall right into it.
Coming here to visit his friend who had moved in. One day, he started playing his harmonica.
The ladies were watching television. Pretty soon hear, "You are my sunshine." I turn around and start to sing. "Or a carriage, but you look sweet upon the..."
So Don played more songs. There was more singing. Pretty soon, he was coming to Amber Glen 3 to 4 times a week.
It just makes you want to swing with it.
Don starts his time here walking down these halls. Before you know it, people are coming out of their room, surrounding him as he plays his music.
They call me sometimes the body fighter.
They just love it.
Andy Payne is the program director here. She's seen a transformation in her residents since Don started visiting.
You can just see everybody's eyes brighten and light up because they knew the words. It's just phenomenal what music can do to people.
Larry Fogerson has seen it in his own mother.
She sings along with him and sings songs that I didn't realize she could sing. You just hear things out of their mouth and smiles that you've never seen before.
Don says he'll keep playing and singing and dancing as long as they'll have them. With the look of things, this harmonica man isn't going anywhere.
They look forward to him. And for people that have Alzheimer's, that's amazing.
It's a good feeling to know that there's something that you're doing. Appreciate it. It's just beautiful.
Okay, there you have that. Fella that's out doing something good for people and showing people a little kindness there in the nursing home, Alzheimer's patients. And shows you that, you know, if he can do something like that, so can you. Out and spread a little goodwill. Find somebody that you can do something good for. Somebody asked me yesterday, so I'm going to do some clarification here. In my shows, I always tell everybody, go out, kick off your shoes, put your feet down in the grass and curl up your toes, get you a good breath of fresh air. And they ask me, what good is that supposed to do? Well, okay, maybe it's over top of some people's heads. The earth releases energy. Your body can soak up the energy from the earth, and it helps you balance yourself, and it helps you to reflect a little bit and to get out some of the negative energy that you soak up from all these news articles and all the negativity that's going on in the world today. Back to nature a little bit. Soak up the energy, feel the energy from the earth, because, you know, if you really concentrate on it, you can actually feel the energy from the earth, and it helps you to gain a little more insight, I think, into reality, because we get lost in this matrix. With that, maybe you understand a little bit better about what I'm trying to explain to you. But balance yourself. If you get off balance, everything gets out of kilter. So with that, I want everybody to go out, kick off your shoes, stick your feet down in the grass, curl up your toes. Take a good deep breath of fresh air. Don't forget to breathe. Balance yourself, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.